fall previous. Right here in Auburn Bay,
Yeah.
you did the Ironman triathlon. Let's just talk about that first. Let's dive in that way. What was that process like? You'd never done a triathlon before?
No, I'd never done one before. It was a lot of work leading up to it, like pretty strenuous training. It was definitely a commitment I'd never made before. We just took it one day at a time and kept working, practicing, and before I knew it, it came.
Was that a new way to shed light on recovery? When I talked about that cycle of addiction, was it a new way for you to just take it day by day and not judge yourself?
Big time. Like it was a huge distraction. I tried to get I had tried to get sober before. Like I've been to treatment before I found Terminator, and it wasn't long after I left that treatment center that I was back up to no good. And I think the whole setting a goal of something to accomplish was a big part of it, as well as the amount of training that it took to get to the race day. Like it was just a big distraction from anything going on. It kept
Go ahead.
Yeah, it kept me busy to the point where I had this on my mind, so there really wasn't any place for doing drugs or drinking anymore. So, like, it took 6 months to get to that point, and I don't think without that 6 months of work, I couldn't have got to be sober even still to this day, because it's a big mind battle. Like, I've found that recovery is a huge mind battle, because I know my brain was so conditioned after so much time using that it became like just something I did. So to like break those neural pathways and to separate from that old way of thinking, this was like, I think it was pretty monumental to changing my approach to life and just how I escaped from reality. Everything.
How did you find the foundation?
It was awesome. Like you touched on it. All I had to do was show up. Like the venues for training were already established. Like we were training at that time Repsol, so just showed up. Went swimming. She had all the equipment. I even got running shoes out of it, like you said. She had the bikes. Now there's coaches. She's even got coaches involved. So like pretty much all you got to do is tell yourself, okay, this is something I want to do, and if you just show up, there's a place to get better.
For a person who hasn't been that deep into the cycle, and I'm going to temper this in a little bit because all of us have been in some sort of cycle of struggle mentally against something where we just can't get over the hump, per se. But if we're speaking in relative terms, for someone so deep in that process in your mind, how huge was it just to get even a pair of shoes to keep the process going of training? Whereas that probably would have been an excuse, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, it's like it's just like somebody's giving you a chance again, kind of thing. Because like mentally, I didn't feel like I could really do much at all. Like I've said it before. I didn't really believe in myself anymore, and like it went to a point to me where basically my family was saying like, we can't really do much more for you. Like we can be there for you, we can support you, but like I borrowed so much money with no intention of paying them back that if I wanted a pair of shoes, if I needed a pair of shoes, they'd be like, well, you gotta figure it out. Like I burned those bridges to the point where I was pretty much on my own, and like I don't know, it's like an uplifting thing just to have someone say, come here and I can help you, type of thing. Like especially getting a pair of shoes, like that is a big deal. I remember I couldn't even afford a cheeseburger. I remember thinking like, man, I'd love some McDonald's right now, but I can't even get a cheeseburger. Like it was so broke. So
Someone to believe you, someone to just I don't know, is it even about feeling like someone believes in you? Because I think maybe through any process of addiction and recovery in that cycle, you on the outside, people believe in you in a sense. Your family and friends are really trying to support you and have done it for years and just don't know what else to do. I've been on that side of it. I didn't know what else to do with my brother-in-law. So it's not even about having someone believe in you, but it's just being set up for success so that when you start to believe in yourself, you can continue that, right?
Totally. The Terminator definitely does that. Like, it's really well organized program.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay, but hey, let's turn the corner then. So I'm going to be the person, because Vanisha's not here. She'd be like, no, don't ask for money. Let's just ask for money. We want more running shoes. Anyone who's ever done a triathlon knows how ridiculously expensive it is. But it is the perfect. Here, I'll turn this way, and I'll give you the break of some privacy now. Oh man, we paused anyways because my battery's low. Okay. Anyone who's done a triathlon knows how expensive it can be. The reason Vanisha engages those trying to recover in the program, the reason she has engaged them in a triathlon is because it is a difficult endeavor. It takes all of your time. And as Mike said, because it's taking all of your time and commitment, there's no room for an easy excuse. There's no room to slip out of that process of training. And it takes such an easy, small thing when someone is stuck in addictions to just say, that's it, I'm done, and you're back into the spiral downward to head toward rock bottom again, if you want to call it that. So Terminator Foundation, run today still. Hashtag your pictures or your video with Run with Terminator on Facebook, on Instagram. Find us on Twitter as well. This is the 6th annual run for youth addictions awareness. I'll say this. We all know somebody who is stuck in that spiral of addictions. And maybe it's not drugs. It's alcohol. Maybe it is some other form of substance, or some outlet that becomes completely addictive and all-consuming and life-altering. And a lot of that stems out of childhood and teenage trauma, and trauma through emerging adults into their 20s who go through a difficult time, face something that is in complete uphill in a battle, and they end up in some form of addiction. So we're just trying to raise that awareness with the Terminator Foundation. I'm so honored to just be asked to be a part of it and host it, to have global television be a supporter of the Terminator Foundation. It is something that I believe in. It is something that has come close to that has affected my family, and part of it is the stigma and the silence within a family unit that surrounds addiction, that you may think you don't know somebody, but you know somebody, you just don't know about their addiction, perhaps. Like, we've all got to find creative ways to reach out and just make that conversation a little bit easier, and the stigma a whole lot less for those that are stuck in any cycle of addiction. So that's what we're here for. Run with friends, run with family. We've got the whole group out. What was that, about 20 people maybe? With Vanisha, out there running, family and friends. Even Earl Thiessen, who's the executive director with Oxford House here in Calgary, is out there on the run with his daughter, which is really cool. I pressured them all to, did I say 22 minutes?
Yeah,
I think at my best I could do 5K in 25 or 26 minutes. So I don't think many of them were feeling very enthusiastic, Earl especially, about being able to run the whole way. But that's okay. Again, hashtag it. I want to give a shout out to Vanisha, founder of the Terminator Foundation. She has a podcast now in its first season. It's called Ordinary Courage with Vanisha Brio. Vanisha has been through, knowing her personally, and I know I can share this. She's been through a massive amount of trauma and addiction herself and through her family. That she finally came out the other side, and the Terminator Foundation was born, and it is a huge thing here in Calgary. and I will not put any pressure on her, but I know talking to board members with the foundation, there is hope that it will spread further in our country. So it's great to see support from across Canada today with the run. Virtual run makes it that way, that it's not just something we've done here in the past here in Calgary, but thank you for joining us. The podcast where she shares a lot of her experience and she sits down and talks with other folks who have had experience with addictions and mental health. Ordinary Courage, it's been there was a point where it topped in the top 50, it peaked in the top 50 in Canada for podcasts. Again, just in its first season, it is deeply impactful. She has great conversations, so you should check it out. All right. Okay, let's put a little end to this. I should have charged my phone better over here, but whatever. We're on the Terminator Foundation Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you for joining me on my Instagram. Sorry it keeps pausing because my battery is low. Let's take a pause. We'll go out front.